How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Forever Arsenal podcast. Another one where we're all smiles to start the day. It's not an 8 a.m. start, so we're a bit more awake than the last pod, but we are all here. Big up Jordan, big up Lee, big up James. How you lads doing?
Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be better.
Top of the league, eh?
Yes, thank you, James. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, thank you. Thanks because you took down a draw. Yeah, thank you.
What was your score? What'd you go with?
I went with 2-0, so I was out of it quite early. You was quite in it at one stage at 2-2.
I was very in it. And then Gabriel Jesus went down. I thought, no, you're joking.
You should have seen James. You should have fucking ref. What's he doing?
Never a penalty.
I'll turn
go to VAR. I was there doing this.
He was in the studio saying,
yeah.
What's wrong with you? It's for us.
Couldn't believe it.
I'll turn around to my mate. I said, he's got to score this. He's got to score this. And my mate turned around and he said, yeah, this is a big moment. I said, no, James has got 2-2. I need this. You know what I mean?
You got your priorities in order. I can see.
Yeah.
So, well, I know we're going to go through the results, but who had what again? Because I was convinced someone said 3-2.
I said 3-1. Jordan said 3-1.
I said 3-1.
Okay.
So, yeah, just missed out.
I said 3-2 when I saw Tomiyasu starting because I just thought would probably be susceptible to more goals, albeit we did concede 2. It had nothing to do with Tomiyasu. So
yeah.
I don't know if we can take that one and add it to this.
No. None of that Turkish. None of that. Don't try.
Yeah, I was thinking 3-2 when Saka slotted that penalty away. So
when the whistle went at the end, I was thinking 3-2 then as well. I was thinking the final whistle, definitely 3-2. We're going to win this game.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, around 89 minutes.
I knew it because I write on a bit of paper before I go. I was just checking just to see what's going on. You know what I mean?
You're at the game just unraveling the paper like,
yeah.
Yeah, we got the win.
Not that we take it seriously, lads, do we?
He came on the stream before and said, can we have a quick look at the table, please, mate? I was like, go on, then. You know what the fuck it looks like. It's on your point.
Can I say, I honestly never used to take it that seriously until Lee Judges made me fork out half my savings on his new, premium, one in 100 shirt. Apparently, he got one of the sort of. I'm surprised he didn't get it framed, signed by the players, and all sorts. I couldn't believe what you were asking for it. So, ever since then, I thought I've got to win this bloody thing.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, this is what it's about. I remember Turkish saying it. It's a shirt of your choice. You know what I mean. There you go. Like, you know what I mean. That was the deal. So I'm going for the dearest one out there. Like, you know.
Well, when I win this year and I ask for the gold 02 shirt, I don't want to hear about the price because that is quite an expensive one. So get the hundreds ready.
I've seen a nice Hugo Boss shirt that's come out a couple of weeks ago that costs a few £100. So I'm just letting you know if I win it this year, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. Put it on your wish list, son. Put it on your wish list. It ain't happening, like, you know what I mean? You never know. You've got more chance of Father Christmas delivering that.
Yeah, Santa might come through the chimney and give you that, mate. I don't know about the Forever Arsenal pod, but yeah.
But it costs £300, just so you know. If I do win, just saying. Choice of my choice.
The man that shall not name is also the man that never gets it right. You know what I mean? I'm just saying,
if Jordan wins, I think that's what we do. If Jordan somehow pulls us out the bag, we get him a Xhaka shirt.
We're getting the old kit and calling him a full kit wanker. I don't mind that.
No, but I'd go a step further. I wouldn't even just get you Xhaka. I'd get Granite Xhaka. I'd write out the full thing on the back of the shirt.
That has got to be the deal.
So
if you actually did win it, you've got to have Granite on your
say his name. We'll get Granite Xhaka, 34.
Yeah, that'll be going straight in the bin, mate. Don't worry about that.
It's only 8 games, and you might think differently after 30 more.
Maybe.
Last week we started with a comment of the week. I'm not sure if we've got any comments of the week. Lee says,
there's
a few.
Why I got my glasses on. This is why I got my glasses on. See, the comment of the week is from J.O.O. I was watching another AFTV video and saw this podcast was out. left that one and clicked on this one, like, you know. So it's obviously he was watching James in the tactical show and
Clearly.
come straight
Clearly.
over to this one, like, you know.
I can't believe you would say that about Graham. That is awful. I'm going to
It
let
could
him
be
know.
the
I like
Could be the
Graham,
fight
you know
show.
what I mean?
I'm going to let him know that you slagged off our show like that. That is outrageous.
Well, come on, what other ones could it be? You know, there ain't that many, is there? Really, I think, like, you know.
It could have been the Invincible podcast.
I think it probably was.
Oh, God.
Oh.
He's got his own. He ain't gone with a pea shooter. He's got out the 2-barrel shotgun there. Like, you know what I mean? It's unreal.
Oh yeah, actually,
Nah, it can't be that one.
speaking of other shows, I did hear you, Lee, on a show recently, digging me out about Edison once again. You and James, I think it was on the what show was it? Yeah,
Me?
you two mentioning my admiration of Edison's passing. What was the comment you made? You said something. I think it was a combined 11 show, maybe. And you
that was like the. That was the
super fan debate.
It was
That's the
Starting
one.
11 when we said about Edison being the best goalkeeper in the world.
Yeah.
We said they said Edison. So we said, well, Jordan probably thinks it's Edison because he can play.
Can he
He
play
can play
midfield,
anywhere.
is the
Like, you know what I mean?
Brilliant
Maybe
show. Didn't appreciate that bit.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, and I know that is bad, but James made me say that, like, you know, and I felt bad about it afterwards, like, you know.
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did.
He put a spell on me. He did. He put a spell on me.
My word. If only I had that much influence on you, Lee.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we all agreed then it was the tactical show that he switched. He switched
I
over
think
there.
so. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Sorry, James.
Yeah, well.
Sorry, man. I tried to help you.
It's either that or the box to box. You know what I mean?
Listen.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for that.
I've come back with a cannon. Forget your little your shotgun, like, yeah.
So space just opened up on Fourever Arsenal, people. Get your applications in immediately.
Right in.
Turkish@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You're forgetting I'm on the control board, my guy. I'm on the control board.
The beauty of being the host.
Right. I'll tell you what, no, it definitely weren't the box to box then. It wasn't that one.
Yeah. Let me turn your mic louder, mate. Let me turn your mic louder.
Big fan. Big fan.
It wasn't
Big
the
fan.
box to box.
Nah, big up everyone. Invincible podcast. Big up James and Graham's Tactical Insight Show. Box to box, all of that, people. You're a AFTV.
Fabregas loves them.
Subscribed.
Fabregas loves them.
Don't even remind me. Don't even remind me. If you watch back that clip when you're talking, I watch back the clip and my face is like kind of in awe, thinking you're gonna say Fabregas knows of the shot. I'm like this, and then you go, no, he doesn't know the shot.
Turkish like, fuck off.
I'm not over it. I'm not over it.
That was actually hilarious.
That was classic.
I could invite Sescon to supporters club, but then you kind of dash that hope. It is what it is. It is what it is. We move.
Oh man,
coming every week out of the way, and I think it's about time we get into the big one. 3-2 win at home to Liverpool, pegged back twice, but we got there in the end. Saka stepping up, and not just stepping up, but taking the pressure on his shoulders and slotting the penalty away with a maturity beyond his years at this moment in time. Getting us the 3-2 win. Lee, you was there. Jordan, I don't know if you was there for that game.
I wasn't. No.
Let's talk to Lee first, because Lee was there. The atmosphere this season has been well noted, not just by the Arsenal fans, but all over opposition fans. I'm seeing, interviews with Ashbert and Army and how they've come about and big up them. They've helped out the atmosphere a lot. But Lee, talk to me, man. How much did the Emirates help get this over the line on Sunday?
Do you know, I do think it is helping. Obviously, it's not going to affect the game so much, but I do think that there is times when you just need a lift and everything, like, and the fans are really, really up for it, and I think what it is, because there's no how I'd say it, like, do you know, like, over the last few years, I think where the influence is, there's been a little bit of negativity. If someone made a bad pass or something, there could be like a little bit of groans or whatever. So, but what it is now, these players must be going into the game knowing that they're relaxed, and if they make a mistake, You know what I mean? They're being supported. You know, and I think that's the main thing. You know, someone will make a bad pass. There's no groans going about. You know, it's all like, don't worry about it, get on with it. Even when they scored their goals, the Arsenal fans then lifted up. You know, come on, we can do this. So I think that they're playing. These players are very, very good and playing really well. They're playing under a different sort of atmosphere and pressure now, like, you know, and I really do think that he's making a big difference. This was a great. I am buzzing to get to the Emirates at any stage. You know what I mean? This moment in time, the atmosphere is so. Going to the game, the streets are packed. There's people singing along the streets, flares going off. It's unreal at this moment in time what's going on, and it's a credit to the Ashburton boys. They're fantastic. They're doing a magnificent job at this moment in time. And they're really adding to, you know, you've got the North Banks. What I'll tell you what's happened is that the clock end and then the Ashburton boys are all at the clock end, like, and they're making so much noise that it's made the North Bank, which is obviously like the more famous out of the two ends back in the day, but it's made them step up their game as well, like, you know. So you've got everybody in the North Bank singing now, like everybody in the clock end singing, and it's fantastic. And the other thing is now, you know, if you go on the sides, up into the boxes, up into the Club Arsenal, they're all singing as well. Like, do you know what I mean? A couple of years ago, it's well played, you know what I mean? They're all up on there, you know what I mean? Like, and I'll tell you what, leading songs and things like that, it's absolutely fantastic. And for me, I don't think you could beat the atmosphere of last week against Tottenham. It was sensational from the word go, because it's Tottenham. Don't forget that was a free 12:30 kickoff. This was a 4:30 kickoff. It wasn't quite the same, but I think it was more of a statement win for us. It was. I think we needed that win on yesterday to just really cement what we'd done the week before, and not. How can I say this? Really? I don't mean this to be horrible. Like, a lot of supporters used to leave 10 minutes before the game. You know, they've got to get their train home, or they're going to be this and that. Like, the stadium was packed until the last player walks off that pitch on Sunday. That's a big statement, guys. When people were leaving early, you know what I mean, to get their trains or whatever. Now they're missing their trains and things like that. Or those people are not going no more, and different people are coming in because everybody's staying to the end. You know, and I always used to look at that. I don't know. I'm not criticising people and all that, but when they leave 10 minutes from the end, it's 2-2, and you know what I mean. We go, what the hell are they doing? Like, you know, everybody's staying to the end now, and I think that there's been a massive change. I don't know how it's happened. I think there's been fantastic contributions, as we said, from the Ashburton board. I think the club have really got behind it as well, really seen something as well. The players are on board, as I said. You know, the players are appreciating it. They're saying it. I've seen 3 interviews this week with players. All have mentioned what the fans are doing and the atmosphere and all that, like. So they're conscious of it and all that, like, you know. And this is what we've been dreaming of. I have been for a very, very long time, following Arsenal home and away, when 1 or 2 players would come and clap now. You know, now they're all going around the stadium, like, you know, and there's a real connection with the club at the moment. I think that's fantastic at this moment in time, like, you know. We've got our Arsenal back to a certain degree. There was a time when I wasn't really loving the players. Name me a player that you don't like in this Arsenal. All right, stop there, Jordan. Like, you know, but like most of we all love every single player, and even, you know, Granite at the moment has turned it around. It's fantastic to be a part of it. I'm just loving watching the team at the moment and following and supporting. I can't wait to the next game. I'm really looking forward to it.
I remember when Mikel first come in, and in the first couple of interviews, he said, and I've mentioned this before, he said, you know, there's a disconnect between the fans and the club. And that's one of the big tasks ahead in the next couple of years. And as we sit here right now, I think we've come full circle from those comments to now. I think we have mended it. You just said we've got our Arsenal back in some sort of way, and I get that. You know, we might not have our Arsenal back in terms of a title challenging, consistent team that's in the Champions League yet, but we have got our Arsenal back in terms of liking what we're seeing, loving most of the players out there, if not all of the players out there, like Lee said. And I got to give a big credit to Mikel, because as well as improving performances on the pitch, to fix that disconnect, because I haven't seen a disconnect between the British club and its fans. I say British because at times abroad you see disconnect between PSG and their fans, Real, Barca, and so on. But with Arsenal, in this league. I didn't see a disconnect from the fans with any other club. I think Man United have gone through that in recent years as well. But to bring it back full circle to where we are now, massive credit not only to Ashburton Army, but also the club for, you know, allowing Ashburton Army in to do what they're doing, to build on what they're doing, because they've been going a couple of years now. So like I said, credit to Mikel, credit to the club. Long may it continue. Jordan, talk to me, man, because you was itching.
man.
You messaged us about an hour after the match finished saying, when's the next one?
I did, yeah. Well, I want to start off by saying well done to the boys and to Arteta for the win. I'll start with that because those who watch this podcast who are not fans of mine, for the next 90 seconds, 2 minutes, might want to scroll forward a little bit because I've got a few points that I think need to be addressed.
Why don't you start with the good first and then
No, this is more fun. I think we have to, as 4 Arsenal fans on this podcast, who I think are quite balanced, reasonable, informed, and passionate Arsenal fans. I think 3 days on after the win, the kind of hysteria of the win and watching a few of the fan cams, I think has died down. It's time to have a bit of a balanced analysis of the game. I hear a lot of people going crazy about we're the best team in the world, we're going to win the league, and getting carried away. I'm not Richard Keys, so I'm all for celebrating wins. I'm happy people celebrate your wins when you win, and it's a big win. I don't have any problem with that. But I think now let's look at some facts. There was a lot of fortune and a lot of breaks that went our way on Sunday. There should have been a penalty for Liverpool in the first half. Gabriel handballed the ball. I heard Rob on another pod saying that he didn't think it was a penalty. It is a penalty. It's a penalty.
Have you seen the slow-mo where it hits his chest first and then goes to his arm? Which was
according to the rule.
It means
well, no, I thought I read the rule. The rule said that's still a penalty. The rules, as I see it, say it's still a penalty. So I think we got. What was even more bizarre about that one is they went to VAR. And then carried on. I was stunned. For
Jordan,
me,
I was with you until I saw the footage of it slowed down. It hit his chest before it hit his arm, and I think that's why it's not a penalty.
But don't the rules say that's still a penalty? The rules that I
don't think so because it's a deflection. So you've originally blocked the ball, so you've stopped it legally, and then it's hit your arm. I don't think they're going to penalise you in the same way as if it hit your arm directly. I'm pretty sure someone on Twitter was on it, but
someone on Twitter posted the rules. I think it's like Rule 4, Section 4.30, and it said that that should have been a penalty. But cool, okay, fair enough. The penalty that we did get, I thought at first was a penalty. I'm now 50-50 at best. That was a bit of fortune. I think it was very, very fortunate. Even though Alexander-Arnold is in poor form, him coming off, I think, helped us because I'm still taking Joe Gomez rather than a poor Alexander-Arnold. I'd rather face Joe Gomez than out of form.
Yeah, I thought he defended well.
I still rather play him.
Better.
I don't know if he did, but I think that was fortunate. And the best player on the pitch in the first half, Diaz, came off. That massively helped us as well. Now, I say all that because what happens when you're on top? You get the breaks. We got some breaks. Let me be very, very clear. I'm taking them. I'm taking all the luck we get because I'm seeing Man United fans, Chelsea fans, Liverpool fans crying about how lucky we were on Sunday. Listen, United got 2 decades of fortune and luck. Chelsea in the Jose era got at least 5 years of things going their way. And Klopp crying about decisions. They got 3 or 4 years where things got bigger decisions than what we got on the weekend went in their favour. So whilst I think we should acknowledge that there was some fortune in the game and the win and the game that we won on Sunday, I'm taking it. I'm not complaining about it, but I think we have to at least acknowledge there was some fortune in that game. We can't just say, "Go on."
What do you think of the Liverpool's first goal? Then Gabriel obviously going to bring it down with Núñez on his shoulder. Núñez was offside in that position. By the rules, I'd say he's interfering with play. So at that moment, it should have been stopped. But I also get that. You know, it was given because Núñez hasn't made contact or made the movement towards.
That's why I think it was given, and it's a close one. But I think they probably just got that one correct.
Then Jesus with Alisson. Jesus, when kind of Van Dijk kind of knocked it back past Alisson, and then Alisson clattered into Jesus. There was a couple there that could have really.
Simicas
elbow to Jesus.
I'm with Turkish. I think
maybe gone.
That there are a few. And I agree. Ultimately, they went more our way. And those 50-50 that could have gone another way, They went
at
our way.
last.
Well, yeah.
Listen, I don't really moan about referees when things go against us because I know they're not competent enough to do their job. So when it goes for us, then this is what it's about.
I'm taking it. I'm taking it.
I'll take a bad refereeing decision every week for us for the next 30 games.
I'm taking it, and these are the breaks that you get when you're on top. So I'm not complaining. Yeah. I'm just saying I've not seen any real balanced discussion from any Arsenal platform that kind of looks at the things that did go in our favour. There was fortune. However, overall, I think we shaded it. Liverpool were good. I thought Liverpool played really well, but I think we just about shaded it. I also want to say that I think in a really weird way, winning the game 3-2 is better for us than winning the game 3-0. I think the kind of having to constantly get pegged back and then go again, back and then go again. I think in the long term will definitely help us. I thought Gabriel was really poor. I thought he was really bad. He was the one. I don't want to dig players out because we've been really complimentary this season about players. Gabriel, I thought was really bad, and it's not the first time that he's had moments where I was watching Ramsdale start of the season. I'm watching him now because 3 or 4 games now he's had moments. Whereas on Sunday, I thought throughout the game, I thought he was really, really poor. On to the positives. I thought there's a split in terms of man of the match between Saka and Martinelli. I couldn't really decide who the man of the match was. Saka got the 2 crucial goals, if you like. But I thought Martinelli, and I know you're a big fan of his, Lee, Martinelli was causing absolute havoc. And I think he won't go to the World Cup. I was listening to a podcast this morning, and there was a Brazilian journalist listing off the strikers and attackers and wide players that she was saying will definitely go. And he's in the camp with, I think, Pedro and Firmino, who are probably won't go. If he doesn't go, that is a massive, massive plus for us. A huge plus for us because he was an absolute live wire on the weekend as well. So I thought him and Saka were really, really, really good. He who I won't name, I'm going to say it. I thought he was average, but I'll say this. If that is an average performance from him, I'll take that. I didn't think he was good. I think it was the first game this season where he wasn't arguably one of our top 2 players on the pitch. I think every game this year, he's been pretty much our best or second best player this season. I didn't think he was particularly good on Sunday, but he wasn't crap. And if that's the worst we get from him, I'll take it.
I think Partey stole the show in terms of the midfield against Liverpool. His passing was something else.
First half,
I know
I thought they both were poor in the first half.
Yeah.
I know we'll bore Lee judges to death, but there's a nice little segment on the Tactical Insight show about how our midfield actually raised it in the second half. But jokes aside,
I will watch that just before I go to bed, James. Don't worry about that.
Well, thank you very much. You won't sleep. You'll be so fascinated by the numbers.
Just diagrams popping up in his head and just,
By the way, I do love the show. I do like some of the stuff.
Well, thank you very much.
I just want to point that out.
Thank you. I will shamelessly invite you all to watch that show because the numbers are actually very interesting. And actually, the pass maps when it comes to Partey and Xhaka and how they started to implement them, their game on the second half. I thought the first half, Liverpool slightly edged it. I thought they looked the better team in possession. And if anyone was going to score, it looked more like them. So it went in at half time, 2-1 up. I was a little, taken aback by that. But second half, I thought we were comfortably the better team. Much the better team. And they equalise against the run of play. And then we go again. And we were the better team. That 5 minutes before they scored, we were playing all the football. They equalised and we went again. That Jesus, for me, it is a penalty on Jesus, though I appreciate it's soft. But I think this is where it comes to you earn your own luck. That came from a sustained spell of putting it into the box, touches in and around the area, causing havoc, putting Liverpool under pressure to make a tackle and try and deal with this ball because they were not dealing with the attacks. And okay, it went our way on that occasion. But I thought that whole second half, and then when we got the goal, I thought, okay, we're in for 20 minutes of a Liverpool just massacre. They're just going to come at us for 20 minutes. And I think one attack, they did nothing. They actually did nothing for that 20 minutes because Arsenal were able to keep the ball, frustrate them, move it around, keep a calm head in that situation. And that is the most impressive thing I've seen from Arsenal all season, is to be 3-2 up against Liverpool, 20 minutes to go, and keep them at arm's length for a lot of that time. And I tweeted that I thought that was the best second half performance I've ever seen at the Emirates. Maybe Barcelona, that 2-1 win, is probably better because you take into account, I think they were the greatest team of all time, in my opinion. But It was more the way I've seen Arsenal get big wins at the Emirates, or even big wins in cup semi-finals and finals or whatever. But we've had to sort of backs against the wall to get over the line. It all gets a little bit desperate, but we defend well. We talk about how rigid and mature we were to get over the line in that situation. But this was Arsenal just playing their football and seeing it through to the end. And that is what impressed me so much. I thought we were so deserving of the 3 points. And I'm a little bit with Jordan in that. I think it was good it was a 3-2, not just because we had to respond to the goals they scored, but actually because Liverpool got to a level that I think we've become more accustomed to in the last 4 or 5 years. They weren't Liverpool at their best, but they were clearly reminding people of what they're about. Yes, on Sunday. And we still rose to that and beat them, which is good. I think if it had just been a Liverpool that were shambles at the back and didn't turn up, I think there'd be more, we'll Liverpool on the same team. So you still haven't really beaten one of the big boys. The fact that they turned up and played, especially in that first half, and we responded to it, is a real credit to the team and makes me feel even better about that performance.
I think it was interesting changing the baton. Sorry, League. I think it's a really interesting changing of the baton, possibly because watching Arsenal and how hard we worked and how energetic we were and how fast we start and how well the press was executed. That's Liverpool 3 years ago. Yeah. And if you look at how Liverpool played on Sunday, that was almost us 2 or 3 years ago. And I wonder if we'll look back in a year or two's time and see an interesting kind of transition of the two teams. I think Liverpool will still get top 4. I think they'll get their act together after the World Cup. I do. But I just was watching the game thinking to myself, one of the things that people were frightened about Liverpool the most was the fact that they were just so on it. They were relentless. And that was us. I didn't think we played well in that first half. I think after the first 5 minutes, I think it was all Liverpool pretty much. We just couldn't. Our midfield was really missing. I don't know where they were. Odegaard, another one, I thought was poor in that first half on Sunday. But overall, I just thought this was Liverpool 2 or 3 years ago, and they're playing like we were 2 or 3 years ago. Good in spurts, but ultimately just not got the oomph to kind of get it over the line. And my final point before I shut up and let Lee talk was a point that Lee made a few weeks ago, about the fact that even though we're winning games, for me, we're still giving up too many chances. We are still giving too many chances away. And I'm being critical here because if we want to improve, we can wax lyrical about, Jesus and Saka and how great we are. But I think we have to talk a little bit about the things that we're not doing well, the things that we can improve on. For me, we're against Spurs as well. When we're on top, we're still letting too many chances in our goal. And I think we need to really work on that because I think we need a really good lead going into the World Cup in terms of if we're going to be top. I would like a nice little cushion lead because after the World Cup, I think a lot of weird things are going to happen. And I think we've got to make sure that we're not regretting these spells where we're on top.
Don't you think those second halves in both the Tottenham and Liverpool game were borderline perfect? We did, one goal conceded across the 90 in terms of both second halves. I don't think either team had a sustained spell of possession or chances in either. And there were moments where they should have because we had marginal leads on both. Okay, Tottenham had a man sent off, but even with 10 men, you can cause some trouble every now and again. And actually, I prefer this. Arsenal starting games well and getting goals, but ultimately having really strong second halves. How often do we see Arsenal start the first 45 and as it creeps towards the finish line, they fall away, they get nervous, they kind of lose the game plan. We've ended 2 really big games really, really strongly, like in total control, I would argue. And you can say the same about the Brentford game and control for the 90 minutes there. I mean, that's really encouraging.
Even the first half, on the face of it, when you're watching it, after taking the lead, it just felt like we went into our shell. But in hindsight, when you look at it, I think it was just another facet to our Arsenal, no pun intended, in terms of that was probably the first half this season we've conceded possession to the other side and heavily conceded possession. But when you look at that first half, how many real big chances did Liverpool create? No one was really saying we're lucky to go into this half-time 2-1 up. Or even if it was 1-1, we was putting in a performance even without the ball. This season so far, all of our performances have come with the ball, with our aggression, with our pressing. This time round in that first half, especially against one of the best teams in the league over the last few years, we said, here, have the ball, and we coped well with it. Now, Jordan's right. There are some issues there, and I think Gabriel this season, he's made some mistakes. I can't really pick out anyone else defensively. Ramsdale maybe started the season iffy, but he's been very important for us the last few games. Tomiyasu steps in, does a job. Tierney, Zinchenko have been doing jobs. Saliba, Ben White. We're going to move into maybe the man of the match, and we're going to talk about Martinelli or Saka and maybe other, but Ben White this season so far under the radar, and he had another great game against Liverpool, in my opinion. So there are things to work on. We have got away with a couple errors, and if you look at the goals we've conceded this season, a lot of them are off our own mistakes or off our own doing, but it hasn't cost us. And the best I can hope for is that this team, these players learn, and it looks like this is what they're doing. It looks like they're really united together, going in one direction. So if Gabriel does make a mistake, the rest will pick him up. If Saliba does score an own goal, the rest will pick him up. If Ramsdale, and so on. So I'm hoping that these mistakes are no longer moving forward, because Jordan is right to raise it, because the attack has bailed out a couple of these errors over the season when you look at it on the face of things. Moving forward, the attack can't bail us out all the time. So we're going to need to shore it up. We're going to need more clean sheets. We're going to need to grind out some 1-0s, 2-1s. And that will rely heavily on the defensive unit being capable, strong, competent in their roles. But overall, listen, if we do move on to man of the match, Lee, you mentioned Saka, Martinelli. I pretty much agree. It was Martinelli all the way until even after the penalty was given. It was the moment I saw Saka take the ball, because it looked like initially Odegaard was going to take the penalty, but then I see Saka take the ball. Van Dijk try and knock it out of his hand, and he kind of shrugs it off, puts it down, and he buries it. He's been doing this from the end of last season as well, but this one was a big one because a game against Liverpool. Listen, if it ends 2-2, we haven't broke that hoodoo or whatever it is that people like to call it, because we wouldn't have beaten them. It would be 2-2. Yes, it's a point. Yes, it's better than maybe what we've done recently against Liverpool, but the win was integral to really changing the opinions of others and nailing down the fact that we are a different team. So Saka picking that ball up, taking that penalty, I have to give him man of the match for the confidence alone, the pressure cooker situation he put himself in. I don't think anyone turned around and said, Saka, you take it. I think Saka stepped forward and said, this is my job. And I rate him for that highly. So for me, man of the match, Saka, but Tomiyasu, Ben White, Thomas Partey, Martinelli, all deserve credit, as well as the whole team. But I don't know what you guys think, Lee.
Yeah, brilliant points there. First and foremost, just to say about that, one thing watching that game, I've been jealous of watching other teams, Manchester City, Liverpool, and whatever, and watching those games and thinking that was one hell of a game of football. I come away from that game physically shattered because it was emotionally at everything. It was a fantastic game when we was involved in it. And I didn't think that our midfield perhaps played as well as what it done, because you know what? Their midfield was as good as ours. I thought they were excellent. Thiago in that first half was outstanding. What was really poignant for me was that I've watched Liverpool 3 or 4 times this season. That weren't the same Liverpool that turned up at the Emirates. That was the Liverpool of old. They were fantastic, going forward and dominating midfield. They were brilliant. They were just, what's happened with Liverpool is highlighted is that they've just gone off the radar at the back a little bit, and we exposed it. And listen, I've heard a lot of people, and it's getting my goat a little bit now, putting Foden's a better player than Saka. Even our own fans have been putting Tottenham players in better than Saka, who I won't mention. At the end of it, and he is our star boy. Let's get this right. He is our star boy. I don't care. I wouldn't swap him for anybody. He is fantastic. 21 years of age. I thought he was absolutely brilliant on Sunday. He's just really, really impresses me. He just does his job fantastically well. And do you know why he played better on Sunday, in my opinion? Because Ben White helped him out a lot more by going down the flanks. He's got confidence now, giving it he's always had 2 or 3 players on him. Can't do that now. Every time they had 2 players on him, Ben White was going on the overlap. And what did Saka do? Passed it to him, give it to him. And if he had the space, he went inside and all that. I just think he makes the right decision. His decision making for a 21-year-old is sensational. You know, there's got to add a little bit more to his goals and all that, but he makes the right pass. He holds on to it when he has to. And also another thing about him, he don't get the protection that other players get. He was like kicked in the first 3 or 4 times by their left back. Nothing said. You know, other players get fouled and they're picked up on. I thought he was brilliant. Was he my man of the match? Not quite, because I just thought that Martinelli was sensational on the day. You know, if you ever look at that second goal, it's Saka does really well, gets into the box, fantastic. What he does to two England internationals, by the way, Martinelli, he just puts the brakes on and they just, they open up the doors, run, Forrest, run, you know what I mean? Actually, they went out and got a program, the pair of them, like, come back, like, you know what I mean? It was fantastic. That is absolute quality, to do that to two players like that. And that's the thing what I like about Martinelli. Martinelli is very, very quick, as he showed against Diaz. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter when he actually goes 2 yards in front, and Diaz, let's be honest, he's no slouch. But he's got the pace, and then he can stop straight away and go again. It's fantastic. He was just got my man in the match. But I also have got to say that a lot of I was mess up with the trains and I couldn't get onto the Starting 11 show on Sunday, but I did watch it. When the team news come out, Tomiyasu at left back, everybody was a little bit, hold on a minute and all that. Masterclass from the manager, because at the end of it, Salah never got a kick. And that's another thing I just want to bring up briefly. I have brought it up on a couple of occasions now. And this is about the press, about everything now. When Ozil signed his contract, big contract, and he didn't have a good game. Oh, look at that, waste of money. Oh, that money. When Aubameyang signed his contract, oh, look at all that money. Since Mo Salah has signed his new contract, he's done nothing. He has been as poor as Aubameyang and Ozil in that time. And don't tell me, he's done it in the past, because Aubameyang done it in the past. When are they going to get onto here? When are they going to get on the Liverpool's back about that and the business and things like that? But it's always have a little dig at the Arsenal, always having a dig at the Arsenal. I actually was looking forward to hearing things over the weekend and all that. They started off with Newcastle before that Arsenal-Liverpool game, ridiculous, even on Monday Night Football yesterday, they're speaking about Newcastle before that game, it's just, let's face it, it's lovable. We've got to enjoy it while we can, so let them keep having little digs at us and all that, because we're doing something right.
That's, I got the Big Six show twice a week, every week on my channel, and it's funny because it epitomizes the opposition view on Arsenal. When Arsenal are doing bad, and we're inconsistent and we're losing games, everyone wants to talk about Arsenal. Everyone. I can't stop people talking about Arsenal. When we're doing good, when we're winning stuff and it looks like we're headed in the right direction, not many people even want to mention Arsenal. That's just how it is. I do feel like we are the most hated in terms of, especially online fans. I think that anytime you want to knock Arsenal, and that media included, they're ready to knock Arsenal. But anytime it's time to give praise, and I see Jordan kind of smirking there, anytime it's time to give praise, it's very, very hard to
get. There's a reluctance.
Drawing blood from a stone.
Absolutely. Look, I've been, at first, I was quite disappointed actually in the lack of mainstream media's, let's say, content in terms of, actually analysing and talking about that Arsenal performance. I really was surprised, because I couldn't believe people hadn't seen what I was seeing. Listen, we all see different things and have different opinions, but I saw a game, especially a second half, where Arsenal were in total control, and I thought there was something so interesting tactically about Tomiyasu starting that game against Salah, and the contrast between the two halves and how it changed. I thought there was so much to talk about from that perspective, and so much credit to give Arsenal in the way Liverpool played as well, and Arteta for the decisions he made. And I've seen very little of it. But then I realised, actually, maybe there's something nice about Arsenal just, again, doing it and maybe going a little under the radar, and everyone just going, yeah, no, that was nice, but City are going to walk it. Okay, fine. Maybe that's the best thing for us. But, I was a little surprised. I thought, I don't know.
Enjoy their silence. That's what I do.
Listen, we don't need everyone to wax lyrical about us, but I kind of wonder, so it really is going to take for us to be top 25 games in, having beaten City home and away, for people to actually start to want to analyze why things have gone right. I'm not saying people aren't talking about it. They are, and they are giving praise. But I thought, especially that Arsenal-Liverpool game, I thought it was really fascinating from lots of perspectives, the narrative, the tactical side of things. And I don't know, it went a little bit under the radar, actually.
I was listening to TalkSport last night, and there's this one guy. What's his name? Jordan.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna segue you into it. Jordan, go on. I wasn't listening to TalkSport. I'm waiting for your opinion here.
No, I think in the main, what you're all three are saying is correct in terms of, when if Arsenal fall off and finish fifth this season, you better know we're going to be filling the airwaves with 3 hours of bashing Arsenal. But yeah, if we
finish third, they're going to bash us. I think it's like the way things are going. I think the next thing will be, they weren't ready for the title. We all tried to tell you that. We all tried to tell you we weren't ready. Right. But we're enjoying the ride and we're having a good time. And this year is about cementing fourth, but doing it comfortably and showing, listen, we're not about this top four race. I think that's what we want. We want to grow beyond that, seal Champions League football and go again.
And this is why I don't have a problem with the Arsenal fans. Because I get a lot of texts from my friends. Oh, look at these Arsenal fans going over the top, shouting and jumping. I'm like, listen, Liverpool at home is a big win for any club. Our record against them is really, really poor. They actually played well, as I think James mentioned, or Lee mentioned earlier on. It wasn't like we beat a Liverpool team that's in the mud. They played well, so let them enjoy themselves. But I do think that I'm not being contrary, but I still haven't got Arsenal in the top four. Because I still think that we forget it's still very early. It's 9 games. 10 games in. 10 games in is when I look at the table for the first time and take it seriously. So if we beat Leeds on the weekend, then I'll revise, where we are. However,
if we lose to Leeds, we're still second.
True.
That's if Man City beat Liverpool, which they should do.
True, but my kind of rule of thumb every year is always 10 games, Christmas, March. Those are the 3 times I look at the table because that's when I think you get a real guide of where you are and where you're going. Do you know what I mean? So 10 games, I'll review it then. However, that win on Sunday is kind of put us in a position now whereby we're almost in the territory of if we don't get top 4, is that a sackable offence? Because that'll be a massive implosion. That will be a huge implosion from here on in. Massive. Because if we don't get top 4, that means Liverpool, who are now 14 points behind us, could have caught us. United, who I don't rate, would have caught us. And or Chelsea or Spurs, who are doing pretty well at the moment. So from here on in, if we don't get 4th, I mean, that's criminal. So I'm revising where I think we're going to finish within the next few days. And the Leeds game will be telling for me. If we beat Leeds on the weekend, for me, 4th minimum. I'm on board. I'm on board. And we could chat about 3rd, 2nd, wherever it may be. And just to kind of briefly echo Lee's points about Saka as well, I gave Saka just man of the match because he was involved in all 3 goals. I don't think Martinelli was involved in all 3. I know he scored 1 and set up 1, but he was involved in all 3 goals. And again, to Turkish's point, he scored some big penalties. Chelsea, big penalty last season at Stamford Bridge. Man United at the Emirates last year. I think Spurs. Am I making that up? Since the Euro final, I think there's a penalty against Spurs.
He didn't. I don't think he scored a penalty, but he scored against.
He scored against them.
Scored at the Emirates.
Okay.
3-0 up.
And a big penalty on Sunday as well. Sorry, Turkish, go on.
He scored against all the big 6 clubs now.
All the big 6 since that penalty miss. So I'm totally with Turkish in terms of this young guy. I knew he wouldn't have any issues in bouncing back. I knew it. I had no issue with it. Oh, you know what? This might affect him. I knew, and he's proving to everyone that he's a proper player. Is he better than Phil Foden? It's debatable. I think Phil Foden is a massive talent. That's a debate. But I'm happy we've got him. And as Lee said, he is our star boy, and long may it continue.
Yeah, and listen, you mentioned Leeds away. It is a big one. We can't run away with beating Tottenham and Liverpool. Leeds away is still a tough, difficult fixture. It's a difficult ground to go to. And we started the show talking about the Arsenal fans and how much they play a part. Leeds have got an equally loud fan base. They're equally as passionate. So we have to make sure our head's screwed on for that one. Before that one, we've got a Europa League tie. There's the return leg for Bodø, where we're in Norway. Lee, you're going over there, right?
Yeah, I'm over there up early in the morning and be going over there. Like, yeah, looking forward to it. Like, so
That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am really looking forward to it. Like, so
6
I've
p.m.
got my hat and gloves already. Ready.
Yeah, I've heard you're going to need it. It's a 5:45 kickoff. I said 6 p.m., but I think it's 5:45 off the top of my head this Thursday. And when you look at the Premier League, you look at what we're doing. I think we've all said this in the past few weeks. Just get the job done in the Europa League as early as possible. Get the points, go through. First is quite a lot more important than second this season, considering you'll miss out on a couple fixtures against the Champions League dropout. But I think we should get the job done against Bodø. Again, I expect to see vast changes, probably a similar team to what we saw last Thursday. Not sure anyone's back from injury in terms of Emil Smith-Rowe. We're not going to be talking about him again till next year. Aside from that...
Sorry, Turkish. Does a win all but pretty much confirm... I think if we win, we just need a point then, don't we, after that?
To go through, yeah. But to finish
4 more
top,
points. Okay,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So we're on 6, 7... Yeah. A win would put us on 9, quite clear of... Yeah, we'd be comfortable. But I'm with Turkish because of the way it's changed the rules slightly. If you finish top, you go through to the round of 16. If you finish second, you've got to play some playoff game against a second place Champions League side. So it gets really awkward, actually, if you finish second. Like
it's a good idea what they've done,
Yeah,
it's a good idea.
It is a good idea. It's made finishing second actually like it's a big punishment. Not only do you have to play an extra game, you're playing second place Champions League side. Whereas, I think that was what it used to be anyway. Only the top place teams will just go through comfortably.
Bypass a couple of games, and when you look at the fixture congestion,
like, you basically take it when you go out and we get second and you're through. There is a little bit more of an incentive to get first now, where you haven't got to play those extra couple of games. And also, I think that it just makes that league. Arsenal can't just go right. Okay, we're through now after 3 games or 4, and then we can just not bother. We need to get to the top, win that group. So it does make it more interesting. So we've got to win this one, and then we've got to beat PSV next week at home, and I think then we're virtually we only need 1 win out of 2 to make sure that we're top. So it's still, so it means that there's something on this game tomorrow. On Thursday. It means a little bit more to it, So it makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, it does. Let me bring up the prediction table.
I reckon the same as same sort of time. Should be still good enough to beat.
This feeling he'll go a little bit stronger. I said that in the last Bodø game, to be fair. They were all right, They were they're going to cause us problems.
Better than Zurich.
Yeah, they were much.
Yeah,
much better.
Yeah.
I mean, they were more solid than good. They didn't cause us that many problems, but they were solid. They weren't.
I thought they had a little bit. I thought they had a little bit going forward. Actually, I thought. I don't know. I thought they could kind of. I don't know. I think at their place they'll make it awkward for us. Actually.
I don't want to see Martinelli, that's for sure, because Martinelli played last week and he's important to us in the Premier League. So I think this one's the one where you give him a rest, if not Xhaka as well. I know Xhaka has been a machine over the years and very few injuries, but let's not take the unnecessary risks. Aside from them two, if we go a bit stronger, I'd understand it. At the same time, I think, like Lee said, even with the changes, we should be good enough to beat them. In all honesty, I'm going to bring up the prediction table before we get into it and get some predictions in. As Lee mentioned at the start of the show, Lee got a point, so it puts him top, considering James predicted 2-2 against Liverpool, and me and Jordan got a point each. I predicted 2-1, Jordan predicted 3-1. No correct scores, but all change at the top of the leaderboard.
Do we need to get that games played number? Yeah. But yeah, listen, well done, Lee. I'd rather you were top than me.
Yeah, well, you didn't back the boys, and that's why you're in second. That's it. End of. Got no sympathy for you.
I was significantly closer. I had a much better idea of how this game was going than you did, mate.
Very true, very true. I have to say that I was impressed when it was 2-2. I thought, you was going to go out on your own there, but You know, I backed my boys. I backed the Arsenal, as did Turkish, and as did Jordan. You know, so
yeah.
Here we
Well
are.
done to them. But listen,
we are.
Arsenal now they're setting a standard, aren't they? You know, whoever comes to the Emirates, we're going to have that level of excitement now. And I didn't want to say this in the previous podcast because it feels a little defeatist, but I would not have been particularly disappointed with the draw, even if we'd played that well, because I think it's going to sound weird. I think sometimes you can sort of be a good side, you come out, you didn't lose, you go again. It's a marathon. I think losing would have been kind of really bad, but I think a draw would have been like the end of the world. Come out and win, especially.
I think a draw would have been bad because I think we've really significantly damaged Liverpool's top 4 chances now. We've damaged the rival while staying top of the league. I think a draw is not an awful result, but I think that we have to go to White Hart Lane after the World Cup. We have to go to Anfield after the World Cup. So I think the home games, especially when you're on form and your rivals aren't,
totally agree.
You've got to hit those 3 points because we never know. Liverpool might be on fire in the reverse. Do you know what I mean? And if we lose that fixture, you're not happy, but okay, 3 points out of 6 against Liverpool over a season, cool. I think a draw, and then you've got to go there, then and possibly beat Liverpool at Liverpool. I don't know. I think
a fair point. Yeah. But anyway, they're setting new standards, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I always looked at those home fixtures and said, second half of the season, we're away, and second half of the season is the business end of the season. But like Jordan said, you have to get the job done at home. And when I looked at the Man City Liverpool fixtures, I mentioned it last week. I said 5 to 7 points from those 4 games, and we've started it in the best possible way with 3 points in the first one. So long may it continue. Bodø, Lee, how you feeling? Where are you going to go with Bodø away? Now
I'm going to go with Arsenal 2-0 win. I'm going to go for I think it'll be 2-0. So
2-0, clean sheet. We need it. James?
Clean sheet.
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1. Cool. I'm next up. 3-1 Arsenal. Yeah, let me go with 3-1 Arsenal. Jordan?
I'm batting between 2-1 or 2-0. I think we'll get a clean sheet. Yeah, I'm going 2-0. I'm going 2-0.
That's me. That's me.
That's it. I was waiting.
Lee's a wanker. Lee's an absolute wanker.
Can I change?
Lee's thinking, don't go 2-0.
I'll just say don't go that night. You know what I mean? Like, no. Well, that was my top.
You're an absolute prick,
table
Lee,
lasted long. Congratulations, James. You're back up there.
Lee's a prick.
Jordan, I beg you every week, just copy Lee's score every single week.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens. I want to see what either you finish second with him or you both finish last. So.
You know what's going to happen now? We'll be 2-0 up with 10 seconds to go and we get a penalty. You know what I mean? Just, you know what I mean? Just typical Jordan, like, you know what I mean?
Didn't he put it in the group with 10 minutes to go, I think?
10 minutes to go.
I think I'm going to get this, guys. You know, at the top of the one, I think it was, wasn't it? Or something?
No, it was Bodø Glimt. It was Bodø Glimt game.
Talk too soon. There's the league table. It's now gone. So Lee's gone with 2-0. James has gone with 2-1. I've gone with 3-1. And Jordan has agreed with Lee 2-0 Arsenal. We've all gone for wins against Bodø.
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that, Turkish. Jordan agrees with Lee. Like I've just cursed his prediction.
And Jordan has copied Lee.
Let's see how it works out for
you. You know what I mean? I've got the top and I say, all right, how can we mess him up? I'll tell you what, Jordan's going to start copying me. Like, you know what I mean?
Me, Turkish and James.
The league in a couple of weeks' time. You watch.
We had a chat last night, me, Turkish and James, about how we can bring you down. So the answer was just whatever Lee says, agree with Lee.
Yeah,
and I said to him, I'll give him £1 for every show he does that. By the end of the season, it should be £35, and then that can go towards the shirt. So he gets a free, doesn't pay at all.
Oh man,
oh dear.
Listen, gents, as always, it's been a pleasure. Big up James, big up Lee, big up Jordan. Make sure you follow their guy and follow them guys. Jordan, he's always on Talksport Channel 4. You can find him there. What's your socials, Jordan?
_ Jordan J Brian and don't be nice.
Don't be nice. If you didn't know, now you know. Lee, talk to them. Lee Judges TV.
Yeah, Lee Mark Judges on Twitter and Instagram. Give us a follow. That'd be nice. So obviously, be doing a little bit of content out in Norway as well. So look out for that.
Big James, new channel. Tell them.
Yeah, I talk about other things away from Arsenal. So if you're interested in any of that, like House of the Dragon, who's watching that? That's bloody good. So I'll just talk about anything sport related, TV, whatever. And then otherwise, what's my ats on, like AFTV James or James AFTV, something like that.
What's your channel, mate? You haven't even told them your channel name.
Yeah,
it's just called James B. It's just
Great.
very boring.
James Bed Night Stories. It's called.
Yeah. Listen, as long as you click on it, I'm happy.
And it isn't James Bond, that's for sure. But yeah,
you can surely stay up for 8 minutes, Lee. I know you're in bed by 8 p.m., but
that's why they're up at 8 a.m. trying to fucking get me to do Fourever Arsenal.
That's exactly it. Honestly, the minute the sun goes down, they're in bed, and at sunrise, they want to be recording podcasts.
On the last show, someone clipped it and put it on Twitter and said they've got Turkish up before noon. But every fucking week they get me up before noon doing this show. I don't know what's wrong with them, but here we are. Hopefully I'm looking a bit fresher. Big up everyone. Make sure you guys hit the like button at home and leave us your comments, leave us your thoughts, your predictions, lineups, all of that. As you can see, we start the show with a comment of the week. So we'll go through all the comments as usual, reply to some. And between Lee, Jordan, and James, they'll pick out a comment of the week that'll get aired at the start of every show. We're here twice a week, every week, people. This has been another Fourever Arsenal podcast. Come on, Arsenal. Let's get the job done against Bodø and move on to Leeds away. We'll have another pod in between those two games, so look out for it Friday, Saturday, people. If you're subscribed, put the notification bell on and you'll know exactly when that one drops. Love for the love, people. We're out. See you soon. Peace.